Hello, our friends out there. Hello, it's Romola from Circle of All Nations. I'm here to share a little bit with you about our upcoming event on Friday. I'm not sure whether I'm reaching you properly. I hope I'll see a message or two indicating that that's the case. I'm uh, I'm here doing, oh, I see, someone from Spain is on board, so I'm assuming you can hear me. So that's kind of cute. Okay, I did try this a week ago and I made a really poor job of it when I went on live for the first time. But it was our practice run um, to prepare for both Friday and for our online Circle of All Nations course. I'm starting as Grandfather Commander generally did with his feather. He used his feather and he brushed his lips to uh, ensure that he was speaking the words that uh, would be meaningful to his creator and to the people who would be hearing him. And I'll start off by saying that this is a feather I received in the early 90s when I was working in Aboriginal justice. It's a hard-working feather. Um, it still supports my efforts. It was presented to me by our friend Frida Enns from Vancouver. She was working with the Vancouver police at that stage, and it was in the context of my work in justice that the feather came to us, and it supported a lot of our early Circle of All Nations work. Um, as most of you know, then the Circle of All Nations work is the work of the late Algonquin elder William Commander, Grandfather Commander, was inspirational at multiple levels. And in May 2000, he hosted the first Circle of All Nations Millennium Peace Gathering at Nepean Point. Well, of course, it was the millennium, so I guess I should not have said necessarily the first. But it was our big international gathering, and I'm going to show you a photo here that shows Grandfather Commander with his three-figure wampum belt, where he was affirming a welcome to people from Australia, from South Africa, from the United States, from many other parts of the country to this gathering to promote uh, the, the work of the Circle of All Nations and to celebrate the United Nations Decade for a Culture of Peace. Um, okay, so the reason why I wanted to launch this broadcast today was because um, this is what we used to call the launch of Aboriginal Awareness Week. To take us back into history, in 1991, we were dealing with the ramifications of the Oka crisis, and Canada initiated three major activities to address the issues of systemic and overt injustice that Indigenous peoples were struggling with throughout the country and in particular in the justice system. This was the First Nations policing, and this included policing initiatives with the RCMP. It included the Aboriginal Justice Strategy, and it also was the manifestation of the work of the Task Force on Federally Sentenced Women, where five facilities were created for women across the country, and most particularly important was the creation of a healing lodge for Indigenous women. It was the time of restorative justice efforts that were beginning to become mainstream in the consciousness of Canada. And it was during that stage that I met Grandfather William Commander in 1997. So now then, to fast forward to our event, um, we launched it with the traditional Indigenous prayer and ceremony, and that included drum. We had, as you'll see in these pictures, if you can see them, the Northern Cree drummers who joined us on Nepean Point for the launch of our gathering. They did workshops for youth, and that is the early stages when we began to hear drumming in Indigenous conferences and festivals. We were most grateful to have with us Hopi elder Martin Gashwasioma and his daughter and son-in-law. And we also had Chief Aval Looking Horse carry off the white buffalo woman's pipe. A very special moment in our gathering was the presence of Mayan elders. And here you see a few of them with our friend Donald Marshall Jr. Here is Ray Sundstrom. He's one of the directors of the Wolf Project. So the gathering was an effort coordinated by both the Circle of All Nations and the Wolf Project, but both were actually synonymous with the work of Grandfather Commander because he had become a special advisor to the Wolf Project. Pardon me. I'm noticing also the comments over here, and so yes, the Wolf Project then included as the other special advisor Beatrice McTavish. The Wolf Project was developed to honor people who promoted racial harmony. At some point in this session, I'm hoping that my young sister Zeni Thumbadoo will join us for a few moments because she was part of our early work, and she brought 5 youth from South Africa from what is known as the National Association of Child and Youth Care Workers, and also youth from the Umtapo Peace Foundation in South Africa to join us for this gathering. As you'll all know, Grandfather Commander would see a child on the television and start smiling. The work for children was really a critical part of his passion, and Zeni continues to do some of the work, and we'd like to think that she carries some of Grandfather Commander's energy in that effort. With respect to that, normally around May, Zeni and I have been fortunate the last few years to go to Washington, D.C., where she's been participating with the Global Alliance for the development of a social service workforce. And there too has continued to advocate for the rights and the care of children. I see Letty Beguin is reminding us that she was a translator for the Hopi in 2000. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, if you guys think I'm looking a little bit untidy, I can tell you who we must blame. It's Brenda, my hairdresser, who's joined me, hasn't taught me how to do this social media thing properly yet, but has also abandoned my hair. Now this is a very special photo, and it's a photo of Lucy Wimet, who created the documentary Ojigwanong, Learning from a Kindergarten Dropout. Now, this documentary was what we screened at the Millenium Gathering at the Museum of Civilization, that amazing building created by Douglas Cardinal. And here's a little plug for Lucy, and here she is with my mother. So my mother too is part of the energy of our work, and actually had to sacrifice a lot because I abandoned my family to persevere with other things that I thought was important, and this was one of them. But I was so happy to see that my mother had met Lucy. Um, Now here is Donald Marshall Jr., perhaps the most important historical figure in Canada. He was incarcerated for a crime that he hadn't committed when he was barely 16, and he served time in federal prisons, and he struggled for many years to fight to clear his name. And he was the first person who was able to do this. Some of you may know the Hurricane Carter story. You may know about the wrongfully convicted. Well, it was the Indigenous Donald Marshall Jr. who broke the trail for truth and justice in the system. Because he had been incarcerated so young, he was really conscious of the needs of youth at risk, and he organized the Donald Marshall Senior Youth Cultural Camp. And we're going to be sharing a little bit about that in the next little while. But he was also, despite the oppression, despite the struggles of his own life, built bridges with others. Have you been hearing me properly, Brenda? Sorry, pardon me. So yes, so Donald Marshall Jr. was presented with the Wolf Project Award. And here he is with the then Governor General Adrian Clarkson celebrating the moment from those many years ago. Here's one of our friends from the States. Tony Watson joined us from Michigan State University. He brought with him folk from the Rosa Parks Foundation, and enhanced our theme of racial harmony and peace building. Here he is sitting in the special talking circle with the Governor General. This picture is of our raging grannies, and some of you will recognize our old friend Joan, who used to be so much a part of the Circle of All Nations work. Vi is there, of course, and she is one of the women who inspired us to actually proceed with doing this gathering. Vi is no longer with us, but I remember one moment during the gathering, grandfather and I used to drive from our hotel to the Nepean Point site, which was right behind the National Art Gallery, to make sure that everybody was there and getting ready for breakfast, for sunrise ceremonies, for the activities of the day. And one time we saw Vi and our other friend May walking to the registration booth a little bit late, and later than grandfather anyway, and so we had a laugh about that. It was really the energy of these old folk who inspired and animated the Circle of All Nations event then. Late pipe carrier Frank DeConti did a sweat lodge. He and Sandra did a sweat lodge at Victoria Island. Oh, I should say then, originally we had hoped to host the gathering at Victoria Island, but we were not able to do that. And because there were no toilet facilities there. So we ended up hosting our gathering at Nepean Point. And of course, it was quite perfect because that would have been an ancient gathering place for the indigenous peoples of the Americas many, many, many centuries ago. We noticed at that stage that there was the astrolabe uh, uh, indicating that Champlain had been in the area. And, that artifact was placed upside down. So people really didn't know what that was really all about 20 years ago. I'm going to finish off here with one more photo, and this is with grandfather and some of our friends. But in particular, I want to point out Scott, who created our website, and that is how grandfather Commander in 2000 became a cyber elder. He became a .com elder whose voice is still um, part of our world right now. I don't see any evidence that my sister is live streaming, but here we go. I want to show you our agenda, and we, as you know, are totally unfunded, except that we did get some money to bring in some guests, and at that stage we were supported by correctional services. But for the most part, all of the Circle of All Nations work is totally unfunded. And so we created our agendas on colored paper. We talked about, we hosted the opening reception of the special documentary Ojigwanong at the museum. The Northern Cree singers did the opening drum song. Our elder Peter de Conti did the opening prayer. Grandfather's daughter Evelyn Commander Diwashi introduced her father. I'm actually realizing that Elijah Harper made opening comments. Just a day or two ago, we were celebrating the passing of this great Indigenous leader. We had Douglas Cardinal, the architect of the Museum of Civilization, now the Museum of History, deliver the keynote speech. The hoop dancer was Robert Bull, and he's an amazing hoop dancer from Alberta. Lucy Wimet, Frank DeConte, and the Northern Cree Singers were part of that moment. And I'm realizing right now that the reception was sponsored by the community, the National Film Board, and how about this? The High Commission of South Africa. Uh, we presented a little discussion about our Circle of All Nations logo. And as some of you know, Grandfather Commander was presented with a few honorary degrees, uh, um, affirmed really by a research project on him. And now we consider our Circle of All Nations uh, logos and T-shirts part of the Uni Stream, University Peace Stream. We hosted a special gathering with Honorable Adrienne Clarkson, Right Honorable Adrienne Clarkson, the new Governor General of Canada at that stage, and her husband, John Ralston Saul, the writer, joined us as well, together with a writer from Australia. The focus of our gathering was on Indigenous wisdom, a just society, racial harmony, and visions for peace. And that then is, in essence, chiefly what I want to share with you. Now I'm saying that we're leading to a celebration on Facebook on Friday. We will be going from 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 in the evening, posting photos and sharing stories on our Facebook page. And we invite you all to join in and share your stories and your memories. Um, Basically, we'll be posting the agenda for the day. Basically, what we'll be doing is uh, going live for a half an hour at the beginning of each of 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 6 o'clock to cover the themes that we continue to work on in little discussions. And we'll also then take the next 45 minutes, no, the next hour and a half really, for to encourage folk to share their messages, share their memories, share their videos, and continue the discussion so that we do an online event by the end of the day that will encourage us to keep building towards community in these times of great crisis. And many of our friends right now who are dealing with painful health issues, and we offer a prayer to all of them. And I'm going to now, I think, sign off. Um, I don't really see you, Zenny. Oh, and I go up there and I see me. Okay, so folk, please excuse me for being so unsmooth about this. And I can't see any comments, so I don't know. Oh, I guess I do see comments. Wow! Hey, Rob. Hi there. I just didn't know that I meant to scroll down the page to find comments. Hi, Delphina. Hey, Madeline. Madeline did the real prayer this morning from across the oceans, Puerto Rico, I believe. And thank you very much. You're so much better at doing this so smoothly. But anyway, you guys will forgive me. I'm just trying, and I'm pretty shy. And but anyway, the main point is, please go to our Facebook Circle of All Nations page. Peace out, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Uh, Yeah, please go to our Circle of All Nations page, and then by Friday I'll be a lot better at this. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.